The death penalty has been hotly debated for as long as it dates back, but is this eye for an eye mentality really the direction we want to be heading in as Americans?
I don't believe in the death penalty because I feel like people shouldn't have the right to kill another person.
Yearly since 1983, the number of abolitionist countries around the world has steadily risen. More and more countries are getting away from this form of murder, and it would greatly improve America's image if we were to follow suit.
We interrupt this video for a UK news brief.
We are here today with UK News to give you the latest updates on what's going on in the world. The latest buzz in the press these days is about an innocent man being taken off death row after 10 years of sitting there. Today we are here to talk about this man's astonishing story. He had been convicted over 10 years ago for what they thought was killing of an innocent 16-year-old boy. The man was no different than you or I, except he was found at the wrong place at the wrong time. We're lucky enough today to get a live interview with not only Brian, the man who was accused of killing the 16-year-old boy, but also his wife Katie and Julia, the 16-year-old boy's mother. Hi Brian, so how does it feel now that you are proven innocent?
Well, it feels good knowing that I finally got off death row and that the process is finally went through that got me proven innocent.
So now we welcome Katie to the studio, who was Brian's wife. How did you feel when your husband was sentenced to death?
I cried for days because I knew he was an innocent man.
What would you consider the worst part of being on death row?
Just not knowing the uncertainty, didn't know what was going to go on, didn't know if I was going to get executed for something that I'm innocent of, but luckily that was the case. I got let off the hook.
How hard was it for you to support your family without your husband, because he was the main source of income?
It was hard. There were things we had to do without, but I think the worst thing was the depression in the house and just knowing someone that you love so much can be taken from you in such a tragic way. The pain was unbearable.
How do you feel now that the person originally accused of killing your son was found innocent?
It's definitely a relief knowing that we didn't put an innocent man to death for a crime he didn't commit.
How do you feel when they actually gave him the death sentence?
It made me feel really sad for his family. No family should ever have to go through that. And even though he was accused of a murder, he was still somebody's brother, son, or even father.
Capital punishment affects families in a major way too. Often the main source of income is removed, and the pain and suffering takes a major toll on them as well. The victim's family often don't even want to see the convict be executed. And isn't the point of the death penalty to bring closure to the families? Who are we to say who keeps their lives and who doesn't?
Many states are now reconsidering if they think it is a fair and just punishment. Our neighbor Illinois has just recently declared it unconstitutional and no longer uses it as a form of punishment.
There have been many documented cases of wrongful executions from the death penalty throughout time. This is the biggest problem with capital punishment. It is outdated and irreversible, and it's time we trade in this barbaric punishment for alternative sentences like life without parole.
We think everyone should get involved in the issue, and if you know someone that was wrongly accused, get online and tell people about it. There's a link on our website, www.uknews.com, that you can go click on and find out more about the death penalty. Thank you for tuning in to Evening News with UK.